Hello everyone, I'm your healthcare information provider, and today we are going to talk about dry eye syndrome. We will be covering causes, symptoms, treatment, and outcome. So let's get started with the causes. The oil part of the tear film is produced by these glands right here, the meibomian glands. So if those aren't working properly, you can also get a dry eye. And what happens is when these two don't work together properly, you get this thing called evaporative dry eye. So some of the common causes of evaporative dry eyes are things like age, gender, and so if they aren't working properly, you can get a dry eye. And this can happen because of things like eyelid problems or issues with your eyelashes, or even your blink rate or your blink strength. This can cause something called a mechanical dry eye. It's a multifactorial issue, meaning there can be multiple causes, and it's often chronic with fluctuating severity. And this is usually less common. It only accounts for about 10 to 15% of all dry eye cases. If you're on your phone a lot, you tend to look down more, and that can also cause more evaporation of your tears, and doesn't leave enough room for the tears to spread out on the eye. Dry eye syndrome occurs when there is either not enough oil, water, or both in your tears. Or if you have an extra skin tag or a cyst on your eyelid that can cause a disruption in how your eyelids are functioning, causing the tears not to be spread out properly. Some of the common symptoms are things like a burning, stinging, gritty, scratchy feeling in your eye. You can have redness, irritation, blurred vision, sensitivity to light, a foreign body sensation. It's feeling like there's something in your eye all the time, and also dryness. Or if you have something like a hordeolum or a chalazion, which is a blocked oil gland, that can also affect how your eyelids function. And then we have other things like contact lens wear, or if you have blepharitis or meibomian gland dysfunction. The water portion of the tear film is produced by these glands up here, the lacrimal glands. But sometimes the problem is that the tears are not properly distributed over the surface of the eye. The first type, the evaporative dry eye, is usually more common, and it accounts for 80 to 86% of all dry eye cases. Treatment really depends on what the cause of your dry eye is. So that's why it's really important to get a good comprehensive eye exam from your optometrist so they can determine what the cause is and then treat it properly. Dry eye becomes more common with age, especially after 50. It is more prevalent in women who have gone through menopause, probably because of hormonal changes during menopause. Then we have environmental factors like living in a dry climate, having a second-floor office where you're looking at a computer all day, which can lead to a lot of evaporation of your tears. Then we have medical conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's syndrome, thyroid problems, diabetes, etc. Also, if you're on certain medications like antihistamines, antidepressants, birth control pills. Also, if you've had LASIK surgery, that can predispose you to getting dry eyes. Now, the second type of dry eye is a mechanical dry eye. But some of the causes of this type are things like eyelid malposition. The upper eyelid kind of rests on the lashes. Then we have things like a weak blink, where your blink strength isn't strong enough to actually spread the tears around. We have things like triasis or matarosis, where you have extra eyelashes growing underneath the lashes that can rub on the cornea and cause irritation. We could have other things like allergies or even a foreign body sensation, like if you feel like there's something in your eye all the time. Alright, so now that we know about the causes, let's move on to the symptoms. Now we're going to move on to the treatment. So treatments for dry eyes can range from things like warm compresses to lid scrubs to medications like artificial tears, antihistamines, maybe even cyclosporine or something like that. Prescription medications. In some cases, prescription eye drops or ointments may be necessary. Limit screen time. Take breaks during prolonged computer use. Humidify your environment. Use a humidifier to add moisture to the air, especially in dry climates or during winter. Protect your eyes. Wear sunglasses or wraparound eyewear to shield your eyes from wind and sun. Blink more often. Consciously blink more frequently, especially during activities like reading or using screens. Warm compresses. Apply warm compresses to the eyelids to help unclog oil glands. Eyelid hygiene. Regular eyelid cleaning can help with conditions like blepharitis. Alright, now let's move on to the outcome. What can you expect with dry eye syndrome? Well, it really just depends on how well you can control the symptoms. For some people, their symptoms can be very well controlled, and they can go about their daily lives pretty normally. Other people, unfortunately, are not so lucky, and they can continue to have symptoms even with treatment. See an eye doctor. It's important to consult with an eye care professional for proper diagnosis and management of dry eye, especially if symptoms are severe or persistent. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on dry eye syndrome. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Make sure you stay tuned for more videos on eye care.